right, so Seth Talk is recording, and I'm going to get us live on Facebook right now. Oh, what the world is happening? Oh my God, Zoom is taking me through a lot of stupid things. Making me yeah, it's making me verify I'm a real human, and it's never done that before. Yeah. Yeah.
Trying to keep people from hacking.
Apparently it is. Yeah. Well, when it's doing it to the administrator and I'm already on, though, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So anyway, it is preparing live stream right now, and yeah, it's acting very strange today. Seth Talk live on Facebook. And one more little thing I need to get. So I'm really excited about the what we're going to do today, the meditation.
Yeah, the coordinate points.
Finding coordinate points. Yeah. All right. So I pushed the go live button. We should be all set there. And now I get my phone and log into the phone so I can see who's on. Okay, I think that just said we're live now. Hello. Hi, Marty.
Hi.
I'm live on Facebook. I've sent out 2 messages. Are you getting the emails okay?
Emails? Oh, you mean to my Juno account, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Gosh, I want to thank all the people on Facebook that are joining. I just had 6 more members join this morning, and now I just went in here and it says 6 more want to join. How awesome is that?
That's good.
It is. Okay, so we are live this morning. I gotta turn off the sound. All right, so welcome everybody on Facebook. And we already have people watching. Deborah is on. Hi, Deborah. And Oshara will be joining us in a minute. How's your week been, Martin?
Really busy.
Really busy still because of your new job?
Well, also, I was by myself the entire week. I was the only person. I mean, there were other people in the store, but I was the only person up front in my area.
Okay.
I didn't have any help at all this week. It was just me running everything up front.
Well, obviously you're very, very good at what you do.
Yeah. Over the years, I've learned a lot.
There's Oshara.
Keep learning more. Hi, Oshara.
Any experiences this week?
Seth experiences?
Yeah.
I should probably think about that before I come on. I'm sure I have had experiences. I just don't keep track of a lot because it's so common,
Oh, we like that. Nice. Yeah. Nice.
I mean, I could probably go on and on and on about every little thing, but yeah, it's just like, I have to think about something that is important to share, not trivial.
It'll come to you.
So, yeah.
this week, Oshara and I, we went in the woods and, we were checking out trees and things. And it's so funny that today we're going to be talking about coordinate points because the two of us at one point, it was almost like seasickness happening, real woozy feeling. And we both felt tremendous, at least two very strong, I would call them major vortexes. Um,
Oh,
and we actually had to like sit with it and felt like our vibration raised tremendously. So it was pretty
cool.
significant. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Very, very cool. What do you think, Oshara?
I agree. It was really like just sitting. It felt like more than sitting in nature. I mean, I love nature. I love being in nature, but something that it felt even more like there's a vortex, a coordinate point with where we were. It looks like Mickey's dinking.
Yep, Mickey's coming in.
Uh,
Yeah, so I mean, and it wasn't just, in a forest. I mean, there was a stream by us. I mean, it had all the perfect things. You could hear the little animal sounds, and you could hear the sounds of the forest. And then there was a stream that was right next to us, and we were able to walk in, and we didn't get our feet wet or anything, but we
yeah.
sat and listened to it, and oh, it was just beautiful.
Stream is very energetic. That
Yes,
creates an
very,
energy of its
very.
own. Yeah.
And I'm getting Audrey in too. Hi, Mickey.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
Audrey. Oh, we have to ask Audrey to unmute. There we go.
Hear me? Yes.
Now I can hear you. Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How's everybody?
Good. How's Mickey
Okay.
doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Come see, come saw. I'm okay.
Oh, well, we're doing great here. It's just a wonderful, wonderful day.
good.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to, let's see, Miriam is on, and I just see my phone just got a warning that it's almost out of battery. So
Oh no.
I know.
Oh no.
I have my cords today. I just need to get it. No, it's in my purse. She's trying to help me. Let's see. Plug my phone in. Minute, I'll be right back. Keep talking. I have to. Really have one out.
Hello, Audrey. You were missed. Good to see you.
Too.
Hello, Martin.
Hi, Mickey. Hi, Audrey.
Hi. Hi, Martin. I played hooky last week. Sorry.
That's all right.
So we asked Martin, did he have any Seth experiences this week? He couldn't think of any. How about
Oh,
here, Audrey?
well, I had a few, but some were pleasant, some were not. It's okay. I had a learning curve there,
Okay.
but we may or may not want to get into that.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay.
But I'm here. What can I say?
All right. I'm glad
I had
you're
to grapple with whether I'd be here or not, but I'm here.
good.
I think I got you, Nikki, on that.
Yeah, well, I had to really learn some things about folks in general and life in general and what we create. So, I'm moving along on that. We'll see.
Awesome.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, thank you. I am too.
How about you, Audrey? Anything cool and exciting and stuffy
No.
happening?
Nope, just boring.
Life is never boring. You're out there taking
You're
all those
trying to kill
cool
me.
pictures. I know.
I
Sheesh.
think I have something in my tooth. Wait.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Miriam is over on Facebook and she's like, hi, watching on Facebook. Hi, Oshara. Hi, everyone. And she's been
Hello.
playing hooky too, she said. Well, that's okay. And
Yeah.
well, last week was a holiday. We get that.
Mm.
And you know, we've been here, you know, it's funny. I want to say the Easter show that we did was probably the biggest show. But it was also at the height of the COVID lock-in and,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that,
Well,
yeah.
I think we're going back into a second lockdown now. So
Oh, really?
Monday morning, it all goes back to a real high level.
Oh my gosh.
The numbers in England have been doubling every 7 days.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
is this all of England or just your area?
as far as I know, it's the country.
It's the country. Okay.
We had gone to a place where you could have 6 members of your family at once in your home. It's gone back to a complete lockdown now. So
Now, I heard yesterday on the news that Israel was going into a complete lockdown too.
wow.
And I had heard that was the first country to do a second countrywide lockdown. So England is doing it too. I did not know it was raising.
And
that
I don't know if it's spread all over Europe. It may be. I think it probably is.
Wow.
But people are really freaked out that I think people got too comfortable with the lightening of the request. So, although you could have 6 people, there was one guy who just got fined £10,000 because he had a party with 55 people. So they, police showed up and said, "Guess what? You owe us £10,000."
So as far as our area goes, it's still the 6-foot distancing. Even if you're inside, there's no limit how many people except for space. So that's why I can't teach at my place. There isn't enough room to do 6-foot distancing with, I think I did the math, and I think I can only fit 2 students and myself with a safe 6 feet between us all. And so that's why I'm not working. And we can do stuff if you're outside. But then, we're in New York and there's the threat of rain or bad weather or whatever. So that's it's hard for us to do stuff outside without being threatened by the weather to go back in.
There's a lot less outside to go to as well. Public places are generally kind of inside in New York. So
right. Now, my business, I do have a pretty nice backyard, but it's very weather dependent.
Yes.
Whoop. And we got Amy coming in.
Hey.
Yeah, we're very weather dependent there, but I've been thinking about trying to do something with an overhang so that, we could do a little more outside. So I'm thinking about how to change things and make it a little easier so that I can open up again, because I miss teaching.
Amy.
Yeah, I'm sure you would. Oh, it's connecting.
Oh, let's see. We're gonna ask to unmute.
She already is.
No, she's not.
No.
Hi, Amy. There you go. Hi.
Hello.
Welcome, Amy. Have you been on before? Amy, have you been with us before, or is this your first time?
I've been with you before on Facebook listening to you, but not actually on the, meeting. And I didn't know whether I'd be on the meeting today or not to try, to see what happened. I got in.
Awesome. Welcome. Glad you joined us for live and in person here.
Yeah, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Wow. Wow. That's a great city.
Yes, it is. I lived there for about 6 weeks. It was a lot of fun.
So I had about that long. Yeah.
Oh.
My first husband was from Philly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it was the Northwest area near Germantown, Mount Airy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Philly's cool. Philly swing.
Yeah, it's cool. It's got a great music scene, art scene.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's improving a lot.
It's a very cool city. To me, it's like little New York.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. If you can't afford New York prices, move to
Amy, I remember you've made a lot of, you've been watching us on Facebook for a while, and you've made really nice Seth comments and questions along the way, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Well, I studied Seth for a long time. I started reading Seth probably when she was still, routinely publishing, like back in '75. And,
Wow.
so I was kind of early on, and she actually her work inspired me to become a channeler myself. And that's what
Oh.
I did for many years. I was a trans medium also. Just
Amy,
to let you know.
so Amy, you're a channeler. Who do you tell us about your channeling, personal
Okay.
channeling?
All right. Well, because I read the Seth material, I was fascinated by channeling. I didn't think I was a channeler at the time. I just thought, I got to see this. I'd like to see if there's other channelers in the area. And where I was, it was very unusual that I met a lawyer. I was working as a paralegal at legal aid at the time, and I was in my mid-20s. And I knew I wasn't going to be a paralegal in my life, but at the time I was. And I met a lawyer who knew a woman who was a trance medium. And she had started also by reading the Seth material and just worked on the Ouija board herself and got an entity named Gay Bonner. And her name is Sheila Reynolds. And she still exists today. She's just a little bit older than me. And so she began to tune into this Gay Bonner person and started giving readings to people, and then started offering classes and meditation and, mind matters is what she called her business, Mind Matters. And she would routinely offer a channeling at the end of each class. So I found out about her classes, and I took her classes thinking, oh, I'd just like to see, a channeler. And it was exciting because she was a very beautiful young woman, so it was rather glamorous. And then at the end of the class, her entity would come through, named Gay Bonner, who was a Scottish woman from the 17th century or something. And she would make comments to everybody in the class, cogent comments about our development and where we're going.
Oh.
And it was so fascinating. It really was. It was like, oh, this is like a mini Jane Roberts kind of session,
No.
with this woman, Sheila. So we were all a lot of us had read the Seth books. And so we were very influenced by, the experience, not only in the channeling, but of course the material, which kind of opened me up. I was going to school at the time for philosophy, and I kind of decided philosophy was limited after I read the Seth material. I felt, Seth was a little beyond conventional philosophic wisdom. And so I even dropped out of school and just started reading the Seth books, for about a year or so, because it just blew my mind. And so I eventually went back to school and finished my philosophy degree. But at that point, I had studied metaphysics enough that during one of the classes at Mind Matters, she was leading a meditation in connecting with your spirit guides. And, she claims, as we all know, that we do have spirit guides. So I gave it a shot, not knowing, at the time what would happen. And during the meditation, I did feel a presence, and a name Dan came to mind. And I told Sheila at the end of the class that, I think I had a contact. And so Gay Bonner came through at the end of the course and said, yeah, he's a spirit guide. He's a highly evolved spirit guide, and he wants to contact you, connect with you. I went, oh boy, not realizing what I was getting into. And I said, well, all right. And so they gave me some techniques to work with, which was literally just doing what you call automatic writing, which you've heard of, where you allow the spirit to take your pen in hand and write, a message to you. So that's what they recommended I do to try to connect with Daniel. And so I did. And at first it was just like little sentences, hi, I'm here. It was very halting, and it took about a year before I was really getting full sentences and paragraphs from this entity, and before I really believed it wasn't my unconscious, coming out and expressing itself. So then from that point, after about a year, I started giving readings to my friends for Daniel, coming through and giving them messages. And so it was all very exciting and new. It was about 78, 79 at that time. And I think Jane's books were still coming out. I'm not sure. I know she passed in 85, I think. I forget when it was, but
84. She passed in 84. Yeah.
84. So I was still collecting her books. Whatever was coming out, we buy the next one. I didn't read them all, but I certainly had them all. And so so Daniel encouraged me, to continue my metaphysical, journeys. And it was during one night I was doing an automatic writing session for friends that I went into a deeper trance, and I guess Daniel decided that it was time for me to be a vocal medium. So I couldn't move, and my friend said, "What's the matter?" I said, "I don't know. I'm just feeling like paralyzed." So they moved me into the living room, and then I started feeling all these sensations, only for the first time, of whirling and feeling like I was falling into the couch, and I felt Daniel's presence moving up. And finally, he was moving my face and mouth, and he wanted me to speak, and for him. So he finally came through. I finally let go, because I was scared, because I felt this entity, kind of, mixing with my energies, and it was for the first time. So I finally let go, and then Daniel came through in a deeper voice and said, "Good evening, this is Daniel speaking. I'm so glad to be here." And he spoke to my friends for about 20 minutes on Zen Buddhism for some reason. And then he kind of left, he kind of rolled out of me, and I kind of felt myself coming back up and finally opened my eyes, and I went, wow, and that was the beginning of my career as a medium, because after that, Daniel came through routinely because my friends wanted to hear him. I didn't care one way or the other because I didn't have any ego investment in it. It's sort of just, this is fun. But, people really wanted to hear Daniel. And so I channeled him for many years just on the QT and just for privately for friends. And then when I moved to Philly in 85, and that was a year, I guess, after Jane had died, then I began to really develop my channeling skills more. And I developed other entity contacts with other entities as well. So, and Escordia is the other entity that I'm pretty proud of connecting with. She's an angel, a seraphic angel. And so she said that I would first start with Daniel and then move into other levels of frequency to represent the angelic realm. And so, I channeled both Daniel and Escordia for about 15 years after that, and then other entities too. So it's quite a history of channeling I have, but I'm just starting to get my channeling, printed and, writing books and stuff. So I had a lot of work to do before I could do that. So yeah, that's a real brief history.
Very exciting.
That's good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, I didn't expect it from reading the Seth books. I know, I remember Seth saying you'll have psychic experiences once you start reading these books. I believe he said that, or your mind will expand. I think he said his words were encoded even to do that. And I think Daniel said the same thing, that his words were encoded too. So I think they must have a sense of how they can use vibration and sound to activate or trigger, our consciousness and our energy fields or whatever, because I had never heard of that before. And so I said, okay. And so with Seth, I started having psychic experiences that were pretty profound and a little scary, but over time they kind of calmed down. And but that kind of kept up, with me over the years. I've had some unusual experiences psychically because of opening my consciousness, to other levels.
That sounds wonderful. It's very similar to my experience in that realm as well. I started out with automatic handwriting and went from there, eventually into direct voice. And yeah, that sounded very familiar. And it is an amazing feeling when you do find yourself receiving to allow this other entity, to have the front of the mic, so to speak.
Yeah, it's a very different sensation of going into a deep meditational and you're sort of there but not there at the same time. And you're learning how to let this other being, speak through you. Yeah,
that's true. It's life changing. Your perspective is never the same.
No, I mean, Seth started changing it, but then with the channeling, it was like, okay, I can't deny this.
Right.
Real being, this is a real entity. There really is life after death, but we really are spirit in the flesh. All these things that you have an intellectual appraisal for, but when you start to really experience the reality of other beings coming to you,
Mm-hmm.
from the other dimensions, non-physical. Then okay, I
Yeah.
see that. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
that's
for it to even be possible, when you first start to kind of wrap yourself around that idea, it puts you in a different subset of humanity, those of us who know better and those who still think death is it.
yeah, yeah.
But I can no longer imagine that it could be. I've been
Mhm.
comfortable outside of that for so many decades that,
Yeah,
you
good to
know,
be with people who do feel comfortable. You know.
it's it's a much nicer universe to think that you can go on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You
yes.
know,
Yeah.
Oh
Yes.
my God, yeah. I mean, that was such a liberating feeling or sensation, knowing that
exactly.
I'm not going to die really.
That's
Um,
a good word for it, liberating. It is liberating. And
Mm.
everything about your thinking changes from there, I think. You
yeah,
know.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And people are still stuck, in the mindset that it's only one life, or they don't know if there really is life after death. So it's unless you've had an experience to validate it, you're just sort of confused.
That's true. It can be very painful to
Mhm.
be around someone you really care about who's locked into a closed mind and
Right.
you haven't been able to extend any kind of way to see it any other way. They just refuse, and
Mm,
it's painful
mm, mm,
because your knowledge of the difference can be just as based in reality. It's your reality, but at least you know what you know. You
mhm.
were there, you felt it, you know what it was, and yet being able to convey that to someone who hasn't experienced it can be heartbreaking.
Oh yeah, I definitely. Oh God, yeah. I mean, my own family, couldn't accept it for many years. They just didn't
Yeah,
understand it at
yeah,
all.
yeah. Don't I know it?
Wait till I publish my book, then we'll see.
How long do you think you have before you'll be ready to publish?
Oh Lord, I'm still transcribing the tape.
Uh,
And, I have to find a way to do that because they were tape form, and most people, have MP3s now or listen to MP3s. So I need to get them into MP3 form to transcribe them on the web. So,
it's a
oh
lot
yeah,
of editing, isn't it?
it's a lot. Oh my God, and that might be another year or so, but I couldn't do it up until this point. I had so many other
Mm.
obligations, and my husband passed away 3 years ago. Who
Oh,
Mm.
Yeah, I was married to a wonderful man who helped me with all of my channeling work, actually. And he was my rod and my staff, my right hand man. And so we were destined, I guess, karmically to come together to, do the work that I did for all these years. And we also ran an organization called the New Hope Metaphysical Society in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, which for
I've
30
heard
years.
of that. I've
Have
heard.
you?
Well, I'm from Forty Fort, Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I have never been there, but I've certainly heard about it, and someplace I want to visit.
mm.
oh, Doylestown.
New Hope.
Oh, New Hope. Yeah, well, it's beautiful. It was originally in New Hope, and then we moved it to Doylestown, which is a little south of New Hope, to a church. But it did start in New Hope originally. Yeah,
Mhm.
in the New Hope Public Library.
Mm.
Amy, have you been able to hear from your husband at all?
Yeah, wow, that was an experience. Like after he died, oh my God, he came to me the first night, and because I was crying for him, and
Wow.
it seemed like he came to me. He kind of appeared. It was very strange. I wanted to hug him, so I was laying down on a massage table because I have that too to sleep on sometimes. And I felt his presence, and I put my arms around him. And I don't know if I was in a dream or astral state, but I literally felt him. But when I
Mm-hmm.
woke up, he was all like made out of clay. It's like he
Mm-hmm.
couldn't form himself yet into a physical feature, but he felt like himself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And so after that, I started suffocating, and I realized later I had my head in the head cradle funny. So I said, "Move away, John," and he did. And then I woke up, and that was the first encounter, and
Mm.
Wow.
it was like amazing. And then a couple nights later, he showed up, like appeared in the astral state. I was sleeping, and then I saw him, and he looked better. He looked more like himself, but his features were still morphing, like they weren't quite gelled. It was quite interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that means once you're in spirit, it's hard for you to come back into what you looked like easily unless you trained a little
Mm-hmm.
while. So
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
it seemed like he wasn't quite adept at it. So, but he sat with me on the floor, and we just held each other, and I could feel him. I felt his arms because I was curious, and he said, I said, you feel like you're flesh, you feel real. And he was smiling. And I guess what he was saying to me telepathically is that, yeah, once you're in the other spiritual dimensions, you're as real there as you are here.
Yes.
And like what we are here feels ethereal to them. So it's all relative to what dimension you're in, how physical, or real you feel. So he's as real in the spiritual realms as we are here in our human realm.
That's wonderful.
So that was pretty amazing.
Oh, that is so wonderful.
Yeah, that was a real validation for me too. And he came to me various other times in the dream state, and on his birthday he appeared also. So we're pretty connected, but lately in the last year or so it's been less and less connected. But the first year or so, I think he really wanted to make sure. In fact, really weird, I think there's a book called Journey of Souls by Thomas Newman, I think it is. It's about,
sounds familiar.
He's a past life hypnotherapist who, regressed people to their lives, but then he started regressing people to the in-between life state before they chose the next life.
Yes, that's why I remember it.
And it's fascinating because people would say, well, I met my master guide, and, we talked about my life, and, reviewed my life, and this and that. So everybody had similar stories about in between lifetimes, what they do.
Exactly.
And so also they're trained as well to help the loved ones who are still grieving for them. They actually are trained to send energy to them in the dream state or whatever. And I think John wanted me to read that book to let me know that he was doing that also.
I've studied in that realm, and it is fascinating. To me, it was more fascinating than even the past lives. That stuff about the in-between was magic.
It really, you don't know. There's so much going on there,
Well, we thought we were all that, but we're such a tiny, tiny part of the picture.
You realize there's more going on, and so many more worlds to explore once we're out of this physical body. So, it was just, the whole thing was pretty enlightening. So to the point where I actually gave a lecture about it at the New Hope Metaphysical Society, report from my husband, and, he seemed to be doing good. He was happy, he was smiling. He even joked about his death because what he did was he actually collapsed right in front of me. He had a heart attack and right in front of me.
Oh.
Pretty, shocking and traumatic. So, it took a while to get over that, but he joked about it in one dream. Like he said, he told me he saw the whole thing, he knew the whole thing happened, and went, oh, okay. As long as you can joke about it, I guess I will too eventually.
Well, we get to a place where we become so used to the idea that death is not the end, and so then it takes away some of the taboos that we have smothered it with. I could understand him joking about it.
It's like to him it's all relative.
I couldn't have, but then they might.
Exactly. It's like, oh, you're coming. Like, it's been grief for years. So I was like, okay, all right, I get it. Okay, all right, good to know. That it's all relative. And once it passes, this too shall pass, and it won't be so traumatic an experience at all. It's just really a transition. It really is a simple transition out of the body. Doesn't have to have any drama about it, except that we make it so. And also the way that we die, that's the trauma: getting sick, getting ill, having pain, losing a loved one. That's the trauma. But the death process itself is rather beautiful, apparently. Once you leave the body.
Well, we've come a long way nowadays. We've come a long way from centuries ago, the way man looked at it. And so it makes me wonder how far we will progress as time comes. Say 100 years from now, what will we actually think about it, and how far would we have learned to take some of the crap out of it?
Right.
Because we are hung up.
As long as our society decides to honor the death process as part of the life process, and that the fear of death is gone, that the and people can't be manipulated by the fear of death,
Yeah.
which I believe is what we're doing here with the COVID-19 pandemic. To be honest with you, I think a lot of people are fearful because they're going to die, they're afraid of dying. So I'm not afraid of dying. I'm just afraid of the process before I die. Still, a little bit.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, but anyway, so if
It'll be
changes, that way.
It'll be extraordinary at whatever point the people who are recognized to have the abilities to channel start to receive messages from some of the ones who have passed during this crisis, during this virus. So hearing about it from them is going to be quite interesting, I think.
Oh yeah, that's a really good story. Yeah, I don't know if I'll do that, but I'm sure there's some gifted channelers out there who might eventually.
Well, there's so many hundreds of thousands more making the trip across than usually is happening. So that means that the ranks have been really swelled as to the percentile that might want to communicate.
Well, that's very true. I mean, I think there's a lot of people dying anyway, not even from COVID. It just seems like everybody's exit stage left, and I know somebody has left recently.
Yeah. Yeah.
For some reason, so.
You made one of my very favorite references there. Didn't you say exit stage left?
Yes.
I got that. Exit stage left.
We're all dating ourselves.
We're dating ourselves.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that was such an old euphemism.
I made a reference to Pinky in the Brain to somebody about a week ago, and they just looked at me blankly, and I thought, oh my God, am I that old?
Yeah, I don't know Pinky in the Brain, actually. Is that a cartoon?
Yeah, Pinky in the Brain and the Warner Brothers and Sister Dot. They're adult cartoons. They were full of all kinds of puns and things, but they were for adults.
Oh.
I don't mean they had adult content in that sense, but they were just, the jokes and everything were about references, dated references, Warner Brothers and Hollywood and all the names and personalities that we would have known, those of us who were in I think it was the 80s when they were out, 70s and 80s.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's
I
really...
missed the 80s because I was channeling them,
Yeah.
I completely missed the 80s.
I feel like that too. And you've explained something I've been wondering about, because I kind of felt guilt that I had missed so much of it. But I was totally just honing in on all the spiritual stuff, and I missed a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, right. The pop culture scene I completely missed. Michael Jackson I completely missed. But I have to tell you, and this is going to be exciting, I hope you find it exciting, I contacted Michael Jackson the day after he died.
Really?
Yeah, that was a really tricky thing. Oh my God. The day that he died, I got really upset, and I didn't even listen to Michael except Billie Jean. That was the only song I heard. And I suddenly just got really upset, like, why isn't everybody upset? Michael Jackson, oh my God, he's such a genius, and my husband's looking at me like, what got into you? I said, I don't know. And so I went to bed, and the next day I went and took a shower, and in the shower, I see Michael Jackson in my mind, and he's about 28, 29, during his bad period, I guess. And he just started, like, sending me love and saying, we know each other, we're friends. I went, you're kidding me? Wow. I went, oh my God. And he just started saying, like, oh, we've had lifetimes on our Taurus, this constellation out in the sky, blah, blah, blah. And, usually when I'm alive, you're not here. Fine, you're here, I'm not here. It's like we have that kind of relationship. Oh, really? And then all of a sudden he kind of merged with me. And I felt my heart, like, pop. And I felt him sending me energy. And, like, I started crying. Like how people cry, around Michael, his concert. Yeah. It's like I started bawling. And I'm like, what's going on? And I just felt this sudden, like they say, love for him. I just felt this incredible love for him. And he started telling me stuff like, you're one of several, like, 1,000 people I'm meeting, who are going to try to continue my work in some way. And I'll be with you and I'll be your guide. And oh my God, it was just totally unbelievable.
That's really interesting. Yeah. I have met him a few times, and that's very interesting. Your take on it
Yeah.
putting that with what I knew of him and how absolutely opposite he really was inside to what everybody thought. So
Oh my God. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Quite profound. Quite profound.
yeah.
Even said he came from a very high spiritual level called the creator God level, which I don't
Hmm.
know if even Seth mentions, but in other disciplines they talk about the various hierarchical levels of
Hmm.
reality. And there's the Christ level, the Christ Michael sons, and then the Supernathim. And if you ever read the Urantia book, that's another
Oh
channel.
yes, I have.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, that goes into the hierarchy big time.
Yeah, I've read the Urantia book.
Yeah.
So I think he
Yeah.
mentioned like he was like a Christ Michael son, which I think is mentioned and so he's like from really, really high level. Of course.
Interesting. That's very interesting.
Yeah, and like I know people thought he was like either an angel or he was pretty involved
It's a
sometimes.
very unique personality. It would be interesting to hear from various psychics what they felt about if they ever pick up this young man that just passed, Chadwick Boseman, who had done the Black
Mm.
Panther movie. You
Oh,
know, he was, what is the thing, Wakanda Forever. You know, it was that big African movie that
Yeah.
was done. But he had a very unique footprint, so to speak. And outside of
Mm.
just being a movie star,
yeah,
there were some other very interesting vibes there, and the way that he touched the rest of the world was quite interesting and unique. So I
yeah,
think we're only just beginning to understand the impact of what he did do, you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
So,
Um, I
but I
channeled him.
find you fascinating with what you say.
Yeah, I channeled him after that too. I channeled him like in November of that year when he died, 2009, and then the following year I channeled him too. So I had those two channelings, which were pretty interesting, which I want to combine with some other channelings I did
Mm,
too. I guess I could tell you about that. I mean, I don't want to like toot my horn, but I've done a lot of channeling. I just haven't
yeah,
been there at all
yeah.
until
Now,
Well,
now.
we're gonna look forward to the
are you
books.
still channeling every day?
No, no, no. I closed my office down technically in 2002, and on occasion I'll do readings for like old time clients, who want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
work with guides also who do like normal, regular readings because
Mm-hmm.
they claim they can read the auric fields and the Akashic records, and so I'm not like a psychic where I do the channeling. I do the reading. I go into trance and let my guides do the reading. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I have done. Occasionally I channel Discordia to the New Hope Metaphysical Society. So I can do it. Just I've done so much of it, I figured I came and did what I was supposed to do. So,
Mm-hmm.
they both lectured on various topics, so 30 topics of each one. So that has to come in the book, that kind of thing. So I can do it if I want to, it's not
Mm-hmm.
like gone. It's the skill that I developed and sharpened, and now I'm sort of like into something else completely.
Exactly. I agree. I feel the same way. I haven't done it in 20 years.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When I met my husband, I had a whole different focus.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Well, then let me ask you. So you both started, discontinued around the turn of the millennium, around 2000, both of you. Now,
Yeah.
what do either one of you want to kick it back in again? Because I think now more than ever, we need to get everybody channeling. Come on, guys, bring the wisdom
No,
in.
mine started long before that. Mine was 19, about 1969, 68.
You start channeling.
Yeah, for about, say, 15 years
Oh
or
wow.
so.
Huh.
Mm.
And, but I found less and less need to do so. I understood it. I got into it so deeply. I mean, when you do direct voice, it gives you a view of it
Mm-hmm.
that's unparalleled.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I found that I got to a point where I knew what I needed to know about it, but I didn't feel obligated to just keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm.
I didn't have anything against it,
Mm-hmm.
but it does take a toll on the body. It
Mm-hmm.
takes a great deal of energy.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had certain types of challenges, both medically, et cetera, intellectually, or whatever. And so I found my focus in life was different at that point,
Mhm. Mhm.
So I understood when you said that you hadn't done it in a while, I immediately related to
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
I had
But
burnout
yet you
big
could put
time.
your finger out and touch it again at any point if you
Yeah,
just wanted to.
Yeah.
it's there. Uh, I was burnt out. I was pretty badly burned out.
Yeah, I was. Well, once I understood that it was absolutely true that we go on,
Mhm.
all of my interest in what was on the other side, blah, 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 it was not as dramatic. It was like,
Mhm.
oh, it's fine. I'll see the rest of this
Like,
when I get
we'll
there.
be there. We'll get there. Yeah, exactly.
That's fine. That's
We've
cool.
been there before. We'll be there again.
Yeah, no problem. I'll see you in a bit.
Yeah, right, exactly. Let's just concentrate on the airplane. I think that's kind of the challenge.
I really loved hearing about your experiences, so I look forward to reading whatever you're going to write.
Oh, thank you.
It has a lovely feel to it, and it's very intriguing.
Oh, good. Well, thank you. Yeah, yeah. I've got like 3 or 4 books actually, available to
Yeah.
so happy to get to that now. Now that everything else is sort of on by the wayside, you don't have much need for other things to do. It's kind of done.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to write the books and
That's good.
to the rest of the
That's
book.
good.
Yeah.
But Shara, are you and Kate keeping any kind of diary of what you're going through with the Seth House and the creation of it and the goals and so forth? I mean,
Oh,
you
I
keeping track of all this? It's historic. So are you?
know. Accounting wise, I am.
Nah,
Yeah.
more than the record for your uncle.
Well, I always keep somewhat of a plan book of my to-do lists, and I save those so I could kind of trace things back and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like that. And
Yeah.
we send out the monthly email. Of course, it's been 6 months since we've sent out the
Yeah.
email
So the annual report will be like a synopsis.
of
Yeah.
the year in review.
Yeah.
But so, and
Yeah.
we remember.
We do.
We remember lots of things. Well, and it's also happy reminiscing too along the way. So it's in the computer banks. So as we need it, it'll all come back to mind. But why do you ask? Yeah, we're
Because it's important historically. It's
Mhm.
another
Yeah.
part of the journey of the whole Seth story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
it's going to be very important that people can connect the dots from the before right through what's going on now. You know, take yourselves very seriously and know that inquiring minds want to know.
will want to know.
Will, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it
This
would.
is your now, but it's going to be somebody else's past. Those in the future are going to be wanting to know about it and how it went and what we were doing and
Yeah.
what were they giggling about,
Well, this is on the internet forever.
Yes,
So that's a good thing.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
But I
yeah.
mean, like I'm sure that you
Second
through the
later.
course of things will have certain unusual experiences and um
Oh yeah. Well,
coincidences with quotes around it and things that, oh wow, look who got in touch with us and we never thought about this and we never thought about, oh look how this dovetail with that and
oh
so
yeah,
forth.
and like the day somebody gives us a call opens a new door because it's like each person who becomes part of this, it's a whole nother layer of energy that the
Yes.
set becomes. But
Yeah.
part of this is it's such a comedy, but you could never get actors who could play some of the characters who've shown. But and everything that's involved, Elmira people, international people
Yeah.
who love Seth, people who hate Seth. I mean,
Yeah.
really hate Seth. Some of
Oh
the people
dear.
who are of extreme
Yeah.
religious ideology.
Yeah, I was
Seth is the
thinking that that's
devil, and it's
probably
like,
Yeah.
no, he's not. But just it would if it were a documentary, it'd have to be a comedy.
Yes,
It's the
it
only way to
would. It
express
would be
it.
hysterical.
Because and it is like, well, what is it about? It's about some Yeah, I always thought that this. Have you ever heard of the Ghost and Mrs. Muir?
Oh yes, I
Oh yeah.
loved it.
I can see the Seth house
Love
as
it.
kind of a takeoff of that, and the
Oh
ghost,
yeah,
like that distinguished guy with the beard and
yes,
Lang and whatever. But it was just like every now and then the ghost pops in and says, "Well, my dear."
yes. I
But
loved that show, and I thought he
so,
was sexy.
oh yeah, oh my God, it was gorgeous. Whoever it was, but
Yes.
so yeah, there's so much of it's coming. And so much of it is just the human struggle of trying to create something beautiful in the world in spite of the odds,
Mm.
and also love for trying to repair a house with history, but the
Mm-hmm.
material and the human experience of Jane and Rob and anybody who's struggling with trying to read the material and understand the nature of reality. And Seth, I was just loving the conversation between Mickey and Amy, and just sitting back and like, oh, I love that
Yeah.
we can talk about these things so freely in ways we couldn't 50 years ago, 60 years
Yes.
ago, before Seth kicked in, you know? So that more of this stuff is like, wait, people, this is reality.
Yes,
It's
it
not
is.
speculation. It's not, oh, wouldn't it be nice? It's not poo poo ho hum. This is reality.
Yes.
And Seth helped to kick that information out there. And the human conversation is not taking it for granted, but all on board with, wait, there is afterlife, there is visitations from loved ones, there is channeling. This is. So
Yes.
we're living in an amazing new bold world of
Yes.
this is reality. We are embarking
Yeah.
on this kind of journey.
Now, before we get too far off, there has been a question about this.
Facebook friends are asking.
Sandra Pelliter. She says, hi, just dropped in. Question. If you became to a point where you knew and moved on, how do you find new inspiration to know what comes next?
If you knew what and moved on,
Well, you guys were talking about knowing that there
that
is
we go on.
and that we
Yeah.
do go on. So
Okay.
I think Sandra is asking, how do you find new inspiration to know what comes next once you've gotten to the point where you guys are at?
Uh-huh.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, great
Oh,
question.
heck and
And
heck.
I hope I phrased it right. Yeah.
Are there any
Interesting.
Not yet. So Sandra, if I didn't phrase it right, put something else in here so that I can get it just so. And I wanted to say while the girls are thinking about this is, I do not channel, I would say for the most part. I get inspiration of messages at times, but it's not the way you guys describe it. Usually happens a little bit when I'm teaching and I like, well, where did that come from? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine, because this is something that I work on and I strive for, and I don't necessarily hear so that I can repeat, messages. I can't imagine stopping. Now that's somebody that doesn't do it though. And so I'm real curious as to getting to the point where, to me, I think, this information is, like Seth put out, such important information that not just help Jane or Rob, but humanity, us. Without Seth's message, I would still be sick. Or I could be dead. I don't know. But the information has been so helpful. So if I could bring forth this, I can't imagine stopping because I don't know what was to come. So
Yeah.
that is hard for me to understand.
Okay. Do you want me to address that question first?
Sure. I mean, I love it that Jane channeled until just maybe
She died.
maybe hours before her death.
Yeah. I said, yeah, and I think a lot of us who were channeling at the time said, well, I don't think I want to go that way. I don't think I want to, die in that way, or I want to live longer than 55, And when I became 55, I went, oh my God, I'm still alive. Thank God, I'm still channeling. But then after that, I said, maybe I should just modify it or watch my health so I can live on and continue the work in a different way. Because I actually started channeling, say, in 78, 79. And then I moved to Philly in '85, and then I was still channeling until probably 2000. I'll say 2002, but every now and then I channel Scordia till a couple of years ago. So, but it was really intense for about 16, 17 years. I would channel like every day. I would do guided readings for people. I would do my lectures at night. I also was a massage therapist and a Reiki healer. I mean, I was doing everything. If you can imagine, I was doing counseling work. I was teaching at local community college, and I had developed actually a couple series of classes based on channelings from the entities that I work with called Journey of the Soul, where I kind of combined some of the major points that they made with the Seth approach to kind of helping people discover, you know, their soul purpose, their soul lessons, who they were, you know, as souls. And so I'm proud of that because I think it was a compendium of, you know, some thoughts from Daniel and Ascordia together. Yeah, but you know, you're only one person, so you realize you're limited. You can't continue all necessarily forever. Some channelers have, but I, you know, they're ill, you know, and they don't look so good. You know, it's like it does take its toll physically. So it's almost like a marathon, and you have to be really strong and integrate body, mind, and spirit. And I was constantly detoxing and taking nutritional supplements and, you know, working out at times, or, you know, meditating all the time, clearing my energy field after every client. It was exhausting, actually. So I had to stop because it was too tiring to do that all the time. If you do it
there's a lot of maintenance work to do.
High maintenance, very high maintenance.
Yeah, it's very high maintenance.
For some, maybe it's not. For some others, you know, it is. But I just didn't want to die at 55, you know, when Jane did. I said, no, I think I got a long time to go yet, you know, and I just got to watch my body, you know.
That's so interesting because the spiritual path that I got on really saved my life and has made me healthy. So you know, and I guess it's different for everybody. But I think the more I do, the better I feel and the healthier I am.
Oh, well, that doesn't negate the you know, the legitimacy of the spiritual practices making you healthy. I mean, I still do meditation, I still do prayer, still do a lot of different things. It's just I don't channel as much.
Exactly.
Because you know, I think I did what I was supposed to do. You know, I mean, even my guides and even Daniel and Ascordia said, you know, you've done enough. You did your sole purpose. You came and did what you're supposed to do. Now it's all gravy. You have free will choice and no more karma to clear.
Yeah.
For yourself or for Philadelphia. And I went, what? You know, that's a new one. So, like, I'm on whatever I feel like doing now is what I'm, you know, can do. You know, it's like a gravy train. I'm like, I've finished my purpose, actually. So, I don't know if a lot of people
I relate to that.
But, you know, I was sort of given the green light. Do whatever you want now because you did what you came to do. You did it. You did too much already. Stop. You know, it's like they were saying.
Now, Sandra did say that. Yes, I phrased it correctly. So what?
Good.
So any thoughts about that?
What you do after you know that you go on in spirit, in the human life.
So how do you find new inspiration to know what comes next?
You get up in the morning.
All right.
Because it manifests. You do get, I don't know, I guess I would call it a speaking acquaintance with your karma, with your own karma. The connection between you and your higher self strengthens and strengthens and clears more and more. So it becomes less of a big deal that you're even hearing from the higher self. There are times during the day when I get very clear instructions about mundane things. Oh, you could look at it like this, and oh, you could look at it like that, which speaks also to some things that you and I were talking about, Oshar and Kate. I had some processing to do. And what I did was I went to my higher self and my probable selves, and I asked for some clarity about the whole situation. And that's how I managed to do what I needed to do to understand my role here, you know, in such a light that I could put away some of the other more personal BS and just get on with it. The other stuff just wasn't that important. This is much more important. So I couldn't get on a human hubris horse and say, well, no, it wasn't about that. This is not the place for it, and it's not the time for it. And for those people who didn't understand that, that's not my problem. That's their problem. So I had to get on with the new the new list of what's important in my life. And that list changes sometimes from day to day and sometimes on whole levels, say in a period, a cycle, a life cycle of some kind might give you a different way of looking at things. So you concentrate, you do the work, as they say, you concentrate on processing whatever that new thing is. And you may use all of the tools in your psychic arsenal in order to address yourself to those problems, of your own ego, your own life, your own karma, etc. But you get to where it's easier and easier to know how to navigate your life process, you know, with the aid of these higher selves and other entities. There's so many levels that stuff
Yeah.
comes from, and it becomes really moot. You don't care about I'm channeling. It's just not that important. You get so used to the information coming in that you're not questioning it as much. You don't want this readout of who are you and when did you live and blah blah blah. It's such moot garbage. Only thing important is the love and how you're gonna clock into it.
Mm.
It's all about the source. And once you really do understand that it's all one source, it has these tiny little lines that come from all these little cell phones that come from the big switchboard in the sky, so to speak. But these are all little cell phone lines. And so you pick up certain one to hear because you feel comfortable with that one. And so you're willing to accept certain truths through that particular filter. At least that's how it works for me. I know that may sound very confused, but I lost interest in the formality of channeling because it became less important.
All right.
You know, I was getting information through all kinds of places in my life, and it wasn't necessary to formally sit down and ask for a line to this person or that one. You will start to see that the people in your life are bringing you information about what should be important.
Yeah.
So you don't have to work that hard to get it. You just have to
Yeah.
stop ignoring it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, as Seth even said, trust your impulses, because they come from that
Exactly.
place of knowing. So,
Exactly.
that's what I had to do. Is like, oh, what am I going to do today? Well, and I talk to my higher self. I talk to my clients. I talk to even, Mother Mary I'm into right now. And
Yeah.
I go in,
Yeah.
and I ask them, they said, well, today just trust your impulses. I said, okay. So my impulse was to turn on, this meeting today. And, that was my impulse. Oh, I'm going to just see if I can hear it. I didn't even know it was going to get on, and so they must have had that in mind, like, yeah, you're going to be on TV, whatever. And so that's really important. Trust your impulses. And if you can get in touch with your impulses, that's even crucial. That's what I used to teach, like in classes for intuitional development and psychic development. Is the first level is to start, first of all, knowing you have impulses and intuitions, and then beginning to listen for that. There's still a small voice within. And then once you hear it, act on it, or, think about it, or do something with it. And then as you continue to do that, you'll get more feedback from your higher self and yourself that this is right. And so continue to listen for those still small voices, that impulse, and trust that impulse, that it's good, that it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And that's how you live. Life eventually is by trusting your own inner self, the inner self that talks about too. And so even in spite of the fact you might know, that there is a life after death, there is other realities that we belong to simultaneously in multidimensional aspects. What it matters is that we're focused here on the physical body, and we're here to, learn lessons and to work on projects and to understand our point of view and our value system, our aesthetics, and there's so many things I could talk about. What is so important just to be human, too. So
Mhm.
don't discount being human. It's just so important. That's why we're here. You know, we
Yes.
could be in spirit realm if we wanted to, but we chose to come
Yes.
into this body, into this time for a reason. And, you know, I talked about the soul blueprint pattern to people. Like, I don't know if you're aware of that, but everybody has the soul blueprint that they
Yes.
come in with, you know? And that's been decided in the spirit realm first. And that kind of gives you just a general guideline as to what you're interested in, where you're going to live, who your parents
Mhm.
are, what your focus will be, what your, you know, lessons, your soul lessons you're going to work on vaguely. And, you know, what helps is your natal horoscope will kind of give you a sense of your soul blueprint pattern.
Oh, yes.
You know, just as a hint for people out there to know, like, who am I? Well, look at your, you know, natal astrology, you know, and get a good astrologer. And that'll be a start. And then read
Yes.
the Seth books.
It's a very
Yeah.
interesting view of your soul. When you
Yeah,
look at your natal chart, it's
yeah,
all there.
it's all there.
Absolutely everything is there. And the more you learn about the subject, the more you prepare yourself to see because it is there.
Mm-hmm. I
And
came to that conclusion over many years, but it's the truth.
yes, it is. Yeah,
Now,
I'm forever telling clients you don't hand just anybody your chart because you're giving them a blueprint to your soul.
There you go.
Mhm.
That's the word. You said it. Yeah.
You wouldn't hand somebody your bank card
Yeah.
No.
unless you knew who it was.
That's true. Good point.
now Joe is on Facebook today. She didn't join us on Zoom, but she's
Hi, Joe.
yeah, she's answering some questions though. She said, "Hi, Sandra. Well, as Seth says, you create your own reality. So actually, you don't have to worry about what's next. So now you can become a conscious creator." Um, and then Sandra said, "Trust your impulse, simple yet so true." And Miriam is on. She said, "I think there was a bumper sticker that said, 'Now that I know the meaning of life, I'm looking for a good fantasy to believe in.'" I love our Facebook people. And it is so awesome that they, you know, they answer each other online while we're busy talking and they're listening and they're taking it all in. So that's just wonderful.
That is good. I like that, Joe.
Yeah.
I like that.
And there's been so many people jumping on and off and names that I don't know yet. And I've been trying to say hi to everybody as we've been talking. So we so appreciate our Facebook family.
Yeah,
That's
it's
friend.
Yeah, yeah,
a great space.
yeah.
Oh, I am so glad you joined us, Amy.
Oh,
Wow, you've made my day.
oh, yeah. I trusted my impulses.
Hi.
See? See?
Well, I have prepared a SyTime today.
Meditation,
Right.
yes.
Oh, I have to find it. Oh, it's here somewhere.
We
There.
do that every week now. We select a Seth excerpt and
And exercise.
exercise, and we go on this journey as Kate reads it, and we meditate or do whatever we want to call our conscious journey. I love it. It's the highlight of our show. So
Yeah, and this one is actually pretty short, so maybe I'll let it sit in. We'll sit in meditation on this a little bit longer. But I do invite the Facebook people and the people that watch it on YouTube and to give us feedback as to if you get any impressions. If so, this one is on finding coordinate points.
So this is a
Oh.
conversation starter. So we'll start with a
Yes.
meditation on it, but then discussing it as well. This is a
Yes.
big thing Seth taught. Yeah.
I've always wanted to know a lot more about that particular concept than
We're all
I
find out.
gleaned in
Oh,
reading. Yeah.
okay. Yeah, we're gonna find out from each other. So this is just the exercise part. So Seth said a lot more about coordinate points, and
Yeah.
I did post a little bit of it on the invitation to this Zoom
Hmm.
about what some things he said about being. Gee, I can't even think of the words right now. Subordinate,
Mm.
subpoints, and yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you'll have to read what I wrote, but this is the exercise and how we can find them because they're everywhere. All right. So I invite everybody on Zoom and on Facebook and on YouTube to just close your eyes. Just sit in a very comfortable place, close your eyes,
I'm gonna sit in
settle
the
into
comfy
your
chair.
space. Go ahead, I'll give you a few minutes. Get yourself all calmed down.
Relax
Yeah,
and
yeah,
get your shift gears in your mind and your
yeah.
energy.
And this won't
Open
be
up.
very long. It's a relatively short one. So let's start now by just settling in with our eyes closed, and let's unify our space together using our breath. So with our first breath, take it in through your nose, all the way down to your belly, and hold. And now release fully through your mouth. And now take a second breath, way down deep into your belly, and hold. And release fully through your mouth with the sigh at the end. Now just listen to my voice as I read Seth's words on finding coordinate points. In Atlantis, there were those who utilized this knowledge, accelerating certain thoughts through concentration, emphasizing certain feelings so as to send them through these coordination points. Great stability was therefore achieved as far as roads, buildings, and the like were concerned. Such projects were carried out with great consideration for their position between various coordination points. This pocketing of space effect can be perceived in a certain trance state. This can be compared almost to a wadding up of air. Now, sit quietly with your eyes still closed and try to ascertain the directional proximity of main or subordinate coordination points. And I'm going to read some aids to help you. With the intent in mind, you will find your inner vision inclining toward a particular direction of the room. And even your thoughts will seem to follow in the same direction. An imaginary line will help you properly identify the place in any given location, closest to any given coordination point. Imagine a line drawn from the point of your inner vision, coming from the inner eye you seem to be using outward. Let it be joined by an imaginary line from the top of your skull, following the same direction in which your thoughts seem to flow. You have an imaginary line then, in this case, from here and here. There is an angle, and then both lines form together. They will point unerringly to the direction closest to a coordination point. Now, with all that in mind, focus on your thoughts and your inner eye. Connect the feeling from the top of your skull and find the coordination point in the room that you're sitting in. Now, all of those who want to stay in SyTime with your coordination points can do so. For those who are ready to come back to Seth Talk, you may do so. Those who have chosen to stay in SyTime won't be bothered at all by those who choose to awaken and share their experiences. And when each of you are ready, take a few deep breaths, wiggle your fingers and toes, open your eyes, and come back and join us in the program. Now, if any of our friends on Facebook have had experiences, please jot down your thoughts. And if any of our Zoom panelists have had any experiences, feel free to share as you see fit.
Okay. I went into the living room, which is sort of adjacent to this kitchen area. And when you asked to move in the direction of the coordinate point, my face went directly to back here where I'm sitting. And actually, it was sort of like right above me, towards the corner of this ceiling was the point, I think. And then when you said have the point come from your head and form the angle, I saw it more accurately right where this Christmas tree is, right above the Christmas tree at the top of this shelf up here. I went, damn, that was quick, you know. And so I just said, all right, fine, that's great. And thank you for that, because never did that exercise before. So now I know where the main coordinate point is in my house, right above me, where I sit.
We are drawn to those places.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know, I am going to find what I wrote on Facebook, because it really, Seth explained it so well. Let's see. Here's the comment. Okay, so just a little of what Seth said. These coordinate points, absolute, main, or subordinate, represent accumulations or traces of pure energy, minute to an extreme if you are thinking in terms of size, smaller than any particle of which your scientists know, for example, but composed of pure energy. And yet this energy must be activated. It is dormant until then, and it cannot be activated physically. So this is something that psychically we can activate these coordinate points once we know where they are. Seth also said, and boy, I'm really paraphrasing here, that with each psychic connection, there is a thread that you can use or others can use over and over. And that's one of the reasons why I think when we do use apartment 5 for connecting, that it is so powerful, because the threads that are there are so powerful. For 15 years that the books were being written.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Now, when Jane did this exercise, the coordinate point that she described, Oshar and I were able to find, and it is in the living room at the bay windows. So there's 3 windows. So it's between the middle window and the window to the left closest to the kitchen. There is a steam pipe that goes between those two windows, and that is where the coordinate point is.
Ah,
Um, we've been able to stand or sit there, and you could actually feel kind of a vortexy, whirring kind of feeling.
That's the feeling I had. I kind of felt like when I was doing it, like I was swirling to the left.
mhm.
Beautiful. Now,
Felt like a swirl.
where did you find your point, or were you in it?
I don't know. It pushed me right out because I almost felt like a dizzying thing.
Wow.
Yeah, to the left.
To the left. Okay.
To
Now,
left and up.
left and up. Okay. Um, before you guys got on, Martin was on, and I had said to him that Oshar and I both had an experience like that this week where we were in the forest by a creek, and we both felt it at different, I mean, I felt it, and I'm like, I almost felt like motion sickness. It was,
Yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
yes. And it was so strong, and it's like we had to sit and we had to almost become one with that energy to raise our vibration so that it didn't throw us off balance.
Mhm.
So what you're saying, Audrey, makes a lot of sense. And it's so funny that that happened to us that week. And this is the week. And last week I did like 5 or 6 of these Seth meditations, and this is the one for this week. And that's what
Wow.
happened. So we
Well,
have found coordination points, you know, and I've been doing this exercise for a little while now. So I'm always able to find one. And mine was about a foot in the corner to the right, about a foot down from the ceiling point.
That's what mine was just now.
Upper right. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
but
It was up
motion
in there's a
sickness.
corner of the room up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right there.
Motion sickness is the perfect explanation.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Uh.
And Fred, I kept telling Oshara, I'm like, I'm seasick. I'm seasick.
Exactly. That was, wow.
That's
Very
crazy.
interesting.
Seasick when you're not moving, right? Because everything around me was moving.
Exactly.
It was strong. It was very powerful.
It is an unusual and disorienting feeling.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
have to sit with it later.
Yes. And we can do this anytime. It's just close your eyes, and even if you don't feel it with your inner eye, it's wherever your thoughts lead you.
Mhm. Well, I hope that I have not been disruptive in the fact that when I came out, I have these tincture
Hmm.
bells, and I just tapped them just slightly
I
for the
heard.
first few minutes, and I didn't want it to be so loud that it stopped anyone from hearing, but yet it was helping to clarify the field that I had created around me. So, they just,
I love them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love
And
it.
I didn't know who was doing it, but thank you.
I only
I
heard
was
it
hoping,
once.
I was hoping it wasn't messing anybody up. I was trying to be,
Oh, not
quite
at all. No, no, no. Now,
quiet with it.
Joe had an experience. She said it was the same as Amy's. It's the place where she is sitting right now, just on her left, her favorite place to sit, to study, and to paint.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sandra said, this certainly raised my energy level. Would it make sense if I said it felt like a dowsing rod?
Yeah,
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. That makes perfect sense. Miriam said, don't know if I was doing it wrong, but all I kept getting was the intersection just outside my door. I live on
Mm-hmm.
I live on a street corner. For inside my home again, I just got a strong feeling for the living room I'm in now. I tried testing these feelings by thinking or focusing on other places in the neighborhood or in my apartment and didn't feel anything from concentrating on these other locations. Sorry, no motion sickness feeling. Well, there is no doing it wrong. So as Seth said, either you're going to see this with your inner eye. So again, it goes back to inner senses. And if you guys are interested in the inner senses, I found them in the Seth material.
Mm.
And I actually recorded them when we were in Spain a year and a half ago. And I was sitting on the beach at the Mediterranean. It was kind of awesome. And I, the inner senses are so important.
Hmm.
And you're not always going to feel the dizzying. I didn't feel the dizzying feeling
I
today.
didn't.
No,
I
but
didn't.
I have in the past. So you
Exactly.
can't do this wrong. So you're either going to see a point with your inner vision or follow where your thoughts go. So if your thought took you to the corner outside your home, then that's
Mm.
where the focus is. Yes,
And it can change. It
absolutely.
can fluctuate and be somewhere else the next time.
And
It depends on what you've locked in on, the vibration.
you could also be picking up a subordinate point or a
Mm-hmm.
point. I
Mm-hmm.
that said that there was four major points around
Mm-hmm.
the Earth, and then there's so many other supporting points. So we
Mm-hmm.
could be picking up on different things, right? Depending on how our vibration is at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to gravitate towards one, like I did this week, that was much higher than my vibration, and I had to sit with it until I matched it. And yeah, that was awesome feeling.
It's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you do get so hooked on the purity of these vibrations that you run into, especially during the side time, the various ones. But you get more and more hooked on the simple purity that you can access, and you start to accept less and less of the normal BS that's out there. So you're
And the fact that, we can do it is connecting the Facebook people. Here's another girl, Susie. She says, I was heavily pulled to the left, which when I open my eyes, I realize points straight to my bedroom where I meditate daily.
mm-hmm.
So again, we tend to gravitate towards those coordination points without even realizing it. And then we
Yes,
find out they're actual physical points of energy that are being activated psychically because we're using them.
Mm. Hmm.
yeah.
Miriam said, Mickey, those are the same types of Tibetan bells as Reverend Sharon Stroud from Interfaith Ministries in Desert Hot Springs uses on her Wednesday night meetings on Facebook. All
Oh,
right,
that's nice. Yeah.
beautiful.
I've wanted some for a long time. And I was sitting the other day and just kind of chilling out and meditating and realized why hadn't I ever gotten any? It's something I treasure. I love the sound of it. I like all the things that make resonance and,
Yes.
vibrational sounds. And I did the same thing at last Christmas. I said, you've wanted a crystal bowl for a long time.
Mm.
Why
Uh-huh.
didn't you get one?
Oh,
To sit there and say year after year, oh, I wish I had,
uh-huh.
dumb. So I wanted one for
So,
Christmas.
so you have a crystal singing bowl now too?
Yes, I have two of them.
Oh,
I
nice.
was
So
greedy.
that's something I want. Now I have a lot of the
I
hand
have,
hammered and different kinds of
yeah,
metal ones.
I have the seven metal ones from Tibet and, that kind of stuff, and one from
Beautiful.
Thailand, but
And
they're all metal.
I also wanted the tinctures, and I remember ordering them, and then they were back ordered, and I'm like, I guess I'm just not finding the right ones. And we were in a little shop, and I found them. I think we were in Nova Scotia at the time,
Hmm.
and I brought them home.
Well,
So
it's like they say, what's for you comes to you.
yes,
And if it just wasn't time before, then it wasn't time. But
right,
I'm beginning to understand that. And just because you want something, yeah, yeah, okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that that moment is when it's supposed to come
truth.
into your circle.
Yeah.
So I've learned to trust the feeling
Mm-hmm.
and to really listen when I'm supposed to, not just when it's a fluke in your head, like, oh, I wish I had so and so. Oh, I wish I had a bologna sandwich. It doesn't mean your butt needs one. So,
But you
as
feel
I well know.
you feel free to use those bells anytime you want.
Oh, thank you. I just
They
didn't
are
want it to be disruptive, but I felt so
different.
strongly about playing it at that particular moment.
You did fine. That's great.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I
Martin,
love
did
them.
you have
We'll
any?
have to, you bring yours one day when I bring mine and we'll
Oh, we'll teach away.
resonate. And I
Absolutely.
got a tuning fork at the same time that um, it's tuned to that 528.
Okay.
You know, there's this argument within musical circles about what vibration are the instruments supposed to be tuned to. And the scientists have come up with a different one than what used to be.
Oh,
Okay, the spiritual circles use the 528,
oh,
but, you know, and so forth and so on. But I
right.
finally got the tuning fork. And when you hold it up to your ear or to your head or whatever, but you really do feel something that connects. There's something about it. And then, of course, it decays pretty quickly, but you just keep tapping it to
Oh,
get that.
absolutely. I do tuning fork sessions. Uh,
Oh,
I've got two sets. I've got the chakra set, and then I have the actual musical set, and I
right.
use them both depending on, how I'm guided. So
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
love doing sound healing sessions.
Well, now, where do we find out about these lovely sessions you do and the healing stuff? Do you have a website just for that part of your world?
I do. The website is healinglearningcenter.com.
Oh,
Yeah. And mostly what's on there is Reiki and hypnosis. There's some free meditations on there. There's at least 2 hypnosis sessions I have. Um, but the different kind of sessions I do depends on how spirit guides me during the sessions. So
right.
I don't go into a whole lot of detail except the basics of what Reiki is and what hypnosis is. But yeah, feel free to
And
look
you
around.
called it what? Healing what?
Healinglearningcenter.com.
I'm typing that in.
You'll find it. You'll find it. So thank you for asking. I
Thank you.
yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay, so Joe said, oh,
Found it.
Joe said the Rock Island S. Verda near, I don't even know how to say this word, Ibza is an incredible energy vortex point. When I thought I can't go there soon, I suddenly heard my guide say, "You don't have to go to the dinosaur. I now tune in from my house, and this healing source fills me with amazing unearthly energies."
Oh,
Interesting.
and who said this?
Joe.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Joe, if you guys want to, so it looks like joke, but she pronounced it Joe.
Uh-huh. Took me a while.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you go onto Facebook and try to see what I'm reading, it's
Mm-hmm.
Joke Zimmerman.
Zimmerman, yes.
Zimmernin, N-I-N,
Yes.
like 9 inch
Yes.
nails. Silly, silly.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So, Martin, were you able to find a coordinate point? Martin is napping or still meditating in SyTime. Beautiful.
It will be interesting to hear where he went when he
Yeah.
comes back.
And this is crazy, but we've got a half an hour left. That's all.
Oh my.
We have been on for an hour and a half already.
Oh,
I,
that went quick.
it does. And let me tell you, the Sunday to Sunday, it feels like each day is Sunday to me. And it's like, yet the week is so full, yet it seems like Sunday comes along so fast. You know, time
Yeah.
is becoming less and less important every day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. So how else can we use coordination points? So we all know now that we gravitate to meditate in them. I know that at my healing center, when I teach, I like to sit in the coordination point because I know it's there.
Uh-huh.
And I like park my rump there. And nobody else sits there. Well,
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
let Ashara sit there. But generally, when I'm teaching, boy, I want a certain place
Yes.
because I know that that's there, and I know, and it might be just you know, the way I think about it, but I swear I get more inspiration when I'm in that vortex area.
Mm-hmm.
Not
Mm-hmm.
that the whole room or the whole building isn't in it, but there's that one specific point that is so significant. So we teach from these areas, we meditate from these areas. How else can we use coordination points? You know, he talked about the Atlanteans. They build roads with it and structures. They use this for other reasons. What don't we know? What can we gain? Like you channelers, channel this information. Find out what it is. You know,
Well,
what are we missing?
I'm just curious, is a coordinate point similar to, say, a chi point, like in feng shui? You know, they say
Mm-hmm.
that they want to activate the chi in the home, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, there are ways to do that. And I'm wondering if the
Well,
coordinate
Seth
point,
said it was a pure energy thread that was
Mm-hmm.
very minute. So it sounds that I don't know a lot about feng shui, but it does sound like what you're describing.
yeah, I mean, there may be connections between various concepts that are all similar, like chi and coordinate point and God knows what else. But I can't imagine how they use coordinate points to build roads unless they knew that the road had to be built. Well, there's also ley lines and, you know,
Yes.
earth sources.
Those are definitely coordinate points. Yes.
So
Yes.
if there are coordinate points, then I can see where they can build roads either along a ley line or, you know, within a ley line or something, or a coordinate point that's like similar to or parallel to a ley line. Maybe there's a science probably that is involved in understanding these energy points and lines
Mm-hmm.
that have been studied in various cultures in various ways and maybe have not been coordinated. And maybe that's the science of the future, where we do coordinate these different ideas together. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Mm-hmm.
the coordinate point could also relate to a ley line, could relate to, I don't know, there's different lines of forces that operate on the earth vertically
Yes.
and horizontally. It could be some of those lines, Hartman lines, Schumann lines, all kinds of lines that like
Yes.
geophysicists are familiar with, and people who do biology, which is to clear homes, they're
Mm-hmm.
familiar with these kinds of lines. So I'm wondering if that's similar to, you know, a coordinate point. And also then, doesn't Seth talk about the moment point? Is that the same or is that different than a coordinate point?
Say that again.
The moment point.
When?
Yeah, point of power.
Point of power. Now, I think he's talking about just being in the present for that one.
Well, yeah, when she said the moment
Yeah.
point,
The moment
in the
point.
moment, each
Maybe
now.
it's a separate concept. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
anyway, those are my thoughts. You know, about
Yeah.
Wow,
the idea of energy.
that was something.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
okay, Martin. We've been waiting to hear where you went.
Yes. Fess up.
Well, uh, it was interesting. I got it. It kind of curved down. Well, not curved, but pulled down to the corner to my also on my left, like some of you said. And there was like a being there, like an entity there in that
Wow.
vortex.
Wow.
Not a bad, not negative, but just
Mm-hmm.
like kind of like saying, "Hi, I'm here." That was kind of unexpected. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Sounds like future work coming
So,
up
yeah,
to explore that connection.
yeah. This is like I'm here to help. That's kind of the
Uh-huh.
sense I
Uh-huh.
got. Yeah,
So
Oh,
that's
yeah,
great.
very
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, I can't wait until you have time to really
Work
get
with them.
further in touch with that, yeah, and work with it
Yeah.
and come back and
Yeah.
report.
Well, yeah. So
Yeah.
Martin said to me in the very beginning, he's like, I should think about Seth experiences that I've had over the week so I can report in. Now you got something to report in on.
Right.
Yeah.
Very,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah.
That's gonna be awesome. Yeah, I can feel that.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you were
I'll have
gone.
to remember to start next week off with, okay, what did we do? How did we use our
Oh, yeah.
coordinate points?
Good point.
Yeah. So somehow, so when he said it, and I know everybody looks at what Seth says differently, it almost feels that in the past, that as people knew where these points were, that they could activate them, or they were activated, and they can utilize them to manipulate or build or make something very physical using this energy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm.
how I've looked at these points. And that yes, they do make a easier or a clearer psychic connection as well. Because clearly, well, I know me, there's two places, and one is in apartment 5, and the other one is in the room where I teach, which is now my art studio. So
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so
Yeah.
when I've done the talk in the beginning from that room, you know, you guys, it's just a great energy in that room. Yeah.
Finding a place like that is so reassuring. Oh, it's a lovely feeling.
It is. And
Yeah.
the whole, and I wouldn't say Seth House is like that everywhere, but it
Mm-hmm.
is clearly in apartment 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think the whole house has the ability, except for some of the people that live there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think once the Seth house owns it outright, and it is only positive energy, because that's the other thing Seth said, is coordination points or coordinate points can be used for the good or not, you
Yes.
know, so
Yeah.
it magnifies whatever is there. So if you have a very strong coordinate point and there isn't the best of intentions in that space, that's magnified. So when we get just Seth people there, people that meditate, people that are doing research on his works, it's going to be a powerhouse house. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I know that, and
Mm.
I know that without a doubt. So I am
Yeah.
just waiting for that day.
Yeah. That's why I nag you about keeping record.
And we certainly, believe me, we have a lot of things written down and written up here. Yeah, yeah. Now, my Healing and Learning Center building is like that everywhere. Like the whole building is like that. And it's a wonderful neighborhood too. So
Mm-hmm.
it's just a good
Mm.
place.
How far away is it from where you are?
About 5 minutes. It's
Oh, good.
it's across the river, um, just a little ways.
That's nice.
Yeah, yeah,
That's nice.
yeah, yeah. It's not far. So,
Wow. I find it so intriguing. I can't wait to go through your website.
oh,
I'm so excited. I've got it off on the side of me. I can't
okay.
wait.
All right. Well, so if you can find the meditations, if you go to the store, and
Ah,
it says free meditations. So there's some meditations there. And then in the hypnosis category, there's a few there. So one of them
okay.
is a video, but most of them are audios.
Okay.
Yeah. Because your eyes should be closed anyway. So a video really, you don't need to
Yeah,
see.
exactly.
But I did one just because
Exactly.
I was trying. That was before I did Zoom or anything. And I was just trying to get a feel for putting myself on camera.
Yeah.
Mm.
I had an interesting coincidence where I accidentally put a live, you know how Facebook has all these notifications of different live
Yes.
publications,
Yep.
things that are going on, like we are right now, and it'll tell
Right.
you.
Yep.
If it knows you like Seth House, it'll come up and say, guess what? They're live right now when you get the notification.
Yeah.
And I went to the page thinking I was going to a different live broadcast. But at the moment that I brought the page up, the one that was on was about a place there in the States that was selling crystals.
Oh,
I
And
caught the end
just,
of it.
yes. Oh,
Yeah.
you go there too? You
No,
saw it?
I saw you posted it. So
Oh,
I watched
yes.
the end
Okay.
of
Well,
it.
oh, yes, I did when I first found it. And I posted the end. And just as I clicked in, she was pulling out a long, beautiful pink quartz wand. It was fabulous. And I immediately was taken with it. It just screamed at me. And I thought, I've got to have that. And I asked her, is that still for sale? She said, oh, yes, it is. I said, thank you. It's sold. I want it. So I bought it. And then we talked on the telephone about, where to send it and doing the card stuff. And I thought, well, when they told me what it cost to send it, it was more than the thing itself almost. So I said, I know what I'll do. I'll have them send it to my daughter in New York, and I'll have her mail it to me.
Mm.
Well, just as I went on to speak with her that night, she had had a very unusual psychic experience, and it was one of great power, and she was exerting power and taking the weight for being, powerful, and she was taking the responsibility for having had this experience. And just as she was saying that, I realized you didn't get this for you, you got this for her.
Oh,
So, and the irony of having asked them to mail it to her,
mm, mm.
you I'm thinking that I'll have her send it to me, bring it to me when she comes to visit, or she'll mail it to me, for much less. But
Oh,
I
Mickey,
immediately knew it was for her.
there are no coincidences.
No, no. So I gave up and said, okay, you'll never guess what I just got you.
Well, when I saw the wand, I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna go to Salem and see if they have them there."
It was beautiful, wasn't it? That long
Yeah.
pink. It was almost clear, but it was a light sheen of pink.
Yep.
It's pink. Healing quartz. It was for
Yeah.
healing. So I thought that's very interesting. So later on, when I went back to the site, didn't they have another one that I liked even better? So I'll have to get that one for me. And I did the right thing by her.
Ah,
You have matching ones.
and I love the pink healing quartz. So that to me
Yes.
represents higher heart, Christ consciousness, and that is so I keep quartz spheres in my healing room.
Yeah, mine have only spheres. I've never had a wand of it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
And
have
this one was almost a foot long, it looked
one.
like.
Mine's only about the size of
Um,
my finger.
This was about
yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
and say the size of two fingers width. It
Oh,
was a
that's
big wand
nice.
coming to a point. It
Yeah.
was fantastic power.
See, now when I use mine, I just put it in my hand as I'm working. So, yeah. So I
Yeah.
have a amethyst and rose quartz that I
Hmm.
I have a big amethyst, a big, huge thing. I put it in my garden. I felt it wanted to be back in nature.
Mm.
Yes, they often do, don't they?
Yep.
I've
I
had
found
it
that.
for years and years and years, and I decided it wants to be back in nature. So
Yes.
nice. And that doesn't mean it's going to be forever.
no,
No.
no.
We have a bunch of Herkimer diamonds, and
Oh
we
yeah.
put them in our pond out back,
Oh,
and
Oh,
they love being in the water.
I
Mm.
miss my pond. Oh boy, do I miss my
We
pond.
love ours. Yeah.
Mm.
I miss it, especially with all the Scorpio energy. I'm a water person.
Hmm.
So someday soon.
I get one when it rains. We get flooded.
Well, I was in Florida, so you had a very high water table.
Mhm.
So digging it was an interesting experience.
Oh no.
It was almost filling itself before you could put a rubber
Yeah.
liner down.
Oh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But it was lovely, and I miss having that energy. The
Mm.
sound of it as well as the feeling of it.
So ours is just a little one. We had, when I bought the building, there was a plastic, like an in-ground pond,
Mhm. Mhm.
and we just built a wall around it. So we didn't put it in the ground, we put it on the ground, and we
Oh,
built a
I
wall around
see.
it. And
Yeah.
we bought solar powered little fountains, and they work great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a nice feeling. It really brings a new level to your resonance, your ability to communicate with whatever level you're trying to seek.
Hmm. Hmm.
I find it's very, very evocative.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the sound of water, the sound of running water is
Yeah.
like so important. Yeah. I mean, look at the meditations. Most people have either the sound of the sea or a sound of a creek, rushing water somewhere. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's important.
It's like the importance of baptism within certain religions, you
Ye-
know, of touching water and being in it and feeling it. It's a part of so many rituals and initiations.
Yes,
Mhm.
it's so cleansing.
In fact, the mikvah in Judaism, which is where baptism in Christianity comes from, it has
Oh,
to be from a running source of water.
really?
Yeah, that actually is a requirement. So like
Ah,
rainwater or a stream, that sort of thing. Yeah.
mm-hmm. That makes sense because it's
Yeah.
alive, it's moving,
Yeah.
Yep.
not stagnant.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm sure you would feel that. You'd feel the power in the water.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just imagine coordinate points in water.
Yes.
I never
Yes.
I never thought about that before.
Me either. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's an interesting point.
It is, and I bet there's plenty of them. There's more ocean than land.
Yes.
Oh, the
Yeah.
ocean is so powerful.
And they're going down so far now to different
Mm.
ley lines underwater and all that kind of thing. You
Mm.
know.
Yeah.
Oh, they've
Wow.
even found evidence of Atlantis. They think Atlantis underwater.
They
Off,
think so, yeah.
off the
Yeah.
coast of Cuba and Florida, they found like
Yeah.
underground paved highways and temples and pillars.
That blew my mind. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing.
Think in Bimini also.
Yeah. Mhm.
Well, it reinforced the things I've been finding out lately about how really many more ancient civilizations there were previous to any that we knew about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, our idea of how old the earth is or how old man on the earth is, there's a lot we don't know and a lot of stuff that we had no idea about really ancient
Mhm.
civilizations that came before we thought we did,
Mhm.
I was
quote
just
unquote.
having that conversation with my boyfriend.
Really?
Yeah, we're not the only, we weren't the first.
Oh,
Thank you.
oh, for sure.
Thank you. That's a lot to take in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
do
know if
too.
he believed it, but I do.
I do too. I'm
We can
fascinated
only
by the.
plant seeds.
Hmm?
We can only plant seeds, Audrey.
Yeah, I plant them.
Good. Good. I love.
I can't wait to visit the Seth house with him.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
will he be open to that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Hey, any news on Boston opening?
No, I'm gonna have to email them and see what's up.
Okay.
I kind of forgot about it.
Oh, I'll keep reminding you. Don't worry.
Thank you. I'll email. I wanted to see it if they were open, and it flew out of my head. But
Okay. All right.
I'll check.
Okay. Did you have any coordinates?
Oh,
No, I went into meditation,
Yeah,
never
I
came
saw
out.
that.
You had
I
the
saw
bobbing
that.
head here.
You and Martin both were out for a long, long
Long
time.
meditation.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Feeling
Very
inside.
good.
Yeah.
What?
Kate, I didn't realize you have crystals for sale, don't you?
I do. Tons of them. Yeah, I do.
The New Age.
Okay.
It is. It's a new age shop. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Did anyone ever have this experience with crystals? I'm not even sure. It was kind of a muddy quartz, little about yay big. And I read a book saying you can speak to the crystal, and I asked it to give a piece of it, and it actually not a sliver, but the whole top came off.
Hmm.
It was
Oh,
Ooh.
really a strange thing. So I'm like, okay, I'll ask it again. And again, a slice off the top came off.
Hmm.
No, but just,
Wow.
yeah, it was weird. I don't know what kind of crystal. I was attracted to it, so I bought it.
So
But
it's
yeah,
is it a muddy color like a smoky gray? Like is it a
yeah, kind of
because
grayish.
smoky quartz is like that.
Oh,
I keep a smoky quartz next to my bed, and it's big. It's probably a foot
ooh,
tall, maybe 9 inches wide.
what?
It's probably 10, 15 pounds. It's heavy. Um,
Wow.
it is such a grounding, secure, like it's one of my very favorite stones. So smoky quartz is very powerful for grounding. Like, and when I'm anxious, like I'll just set it right on my chest and just calms me down.
I used to
That's
carry the slivers, what the
Mhm.
pieces
yeah,
with me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah.
it's reacting to your intention on and it's giving you what you need, what you're asking it
It
for.
was weird,
That's
but
awesome.
it was
Wow.
unbelievable, actually.
I was led to bring almost all of my crystals into the bedroom about 2.5, 3 months ago. And
Hmm.
it is very interesting how it totally changed the room.
Oh, yes.
I bought some of these units of plastic drawers so you can see through it, and each type is in a drawer of its own. And
Uh-huh.
I brought them all into the bedroom to the foot of the bed. So interesting to hear what you said about what you do with your smoky quartz,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, because
That,
Do
but
you all
that's
clean?
Scorpio.
I have
Huh?
crystals
Do
on
you,
every windowsill. So we have at least 3 to 6 on every windowsill. I
Mm-hmm.
have selenite above the front doors where people would come in. So that's
Mm-hmm.
very calming. Yeah, I have them everywhere.
do you guys clean them?
Um,
Not for dust or anything,
no,
but like
no, cleanse them. So
I cleanse, yeah.
So some of them I put in the full moon, so cleansing with the moon. So that's why I keep them in windowsills. So
Mm-hmm.
they either get sun or they get moon energy. And then I tend to sage a lot, or I use Palo Santo or Copal. So I
Mm-hmm.
do the whole apartment quite often.
Yeah.
So Seth, we should do Finding Seth to see what he said about crystals and gems and stones, because I think he did say something, and there was one experience Jane had where I think she felt like she out-of-bodied into a crystal, or she had some kind of a crystal experience in meditation. Does anybody
Interesting.
recall any of this?
I don't,
It
but
was,
it's very
oh, there
interesting.
she goes. Yeah, she is on Finding Seth. And
She
Huh.
is on it.
crystal and 22 results.
Yeah.
Walls of crystal color I've seen. Okay.
I'm looking at your website, Kate, and the first thing I see here is this big crystal ball, like what I was looking for the other night. I'm trying
I
to
want a
find a
crystal.
larger crystal ball. I had a beautiful one that was black onyx,
Ooh.
and it was huge,
Hmm.
but it had come from someone who was truly poisonous. And I had tried many times to clear it, and I couldn't get all of them out of it, so I gave it away.
Oh. Mm.
And it was very expensive, but it was better to give it to someone else who could feel it better and
Hmm.
who had no issues with the person that I had gotten it from. So it's sad, but it's gone. So now I need a large crystal, and I was going between whether or not it should be a usual crystal, like a quartz crystal. So often see that as a crystal ball,
You,
but this that you're showing is amethyst, isn't it?
I don't know which one you're looking at.
There's a picture on your website where it says new crystals too many to list.
Oh.
And it's just a picture. It's not a link that takes you to your crystals, but it's a picture of one you have, and it's sitting next to a painting you did of crystal. So at some point we'll have to talk about that.
Oh
Keep in
yeah,
yeah, the
mind.
purple sphere.
that is amethyst.
Amethyst
Yes.
sphere, yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I don't, yeah. I still have that one.
It
So
looks large.
it is large. It is
Yeah.
large. Yeah, it's probably five
Yeah, that's
inches in
that's
diameter.
like what I had. Yeah. Mine was black onyx. Very interesting
That,
substance, but
that picture that is sitting next to is 4 by 6. So
mm-hmm.
it's about 4 inches high.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Interesting.
yeah. See, God, it's been a long time since I've looked at my own website. So those are all paintings that I've done myself.
Yes, I like those.
That's really what I love is, oh yeah, doing that work. Yeah. But yep, yeah, all this stuff is there. I sell a lot of salt products.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Himalayan salt
Mm.
foot tiles.
Oh, yeah,
Very interesting. I
they
had never seen that.
well, those are interesting. You warm them up in the oven and then you put your feet on them without burning your feet, of course.
Hmm.
And it pulls the toxins out of the soles of your feet.
That's very interesting.
And it
Because
does
you,
removes pain from the legs and the back. It's
well, I will certainly need that right away.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, okay, so Oshar had me Google for crystals. So here's something from Unknown Reality. It's in the Appendix 19. It says a good example for this note can be found in her material at 1047 in this 714th session. Wait a minute, dot, dot, dot. What I'm getting is a fantastic sound that's imprisoned in a crystal that speaks
Ooh,
through light. That's the essence of personality.
wow.
I know. So we'll have to look up unknown reality and see what else
Yes.
say.
Hmm.
So session 714.
Wow. And isn't Unknown Reality 2 volumes?
Yeah.
It is. It's in the second volume. Unknown
Okay.
Reality 2, the Appendix
Yeah.
19.
I went to buy, I had mentioned once before, months ago, that I wanted to buy the unknown sessions and the deleted sessions or personal sessions, etc. All of those ones. And I was just happily ordering my brains out and made a little list and went to the um, shopping basket and discovered that the shipping on it was almost 200 quid, which is, it's like about $250.
Wow.
And that was just for the shipping, for the mailing.
Now, was this from Rick Stack's website?
Mm-hmm.
'Cause
Mm-hmm.
I have found his shipping to be very reasonable, but of course it's America.
It's within the states. The moment you say send it out of the country, it went nuts. It was almost 4 times as much as what I'd ordered.
Why don't you look on Amazon? You
I
can
did.
find, oh, good, good.
I
Because you
did.
can
However,
find good used ones.
they're all there, but they're on Kindle.
No, yeah.
Trying to
Um,
find the books.
I
The
have
books will show people.
Amazon. I have to have the book too, not Kindle. With Amazon, you just have to keep checking back. So I've got
Right.
a collection like, oh, there's one, and then a
Okay.
few
Well,
weeks
I've just started now. I've gotten 2.
Okay, good.
early
I
set.
got a email today that they have just been shipped. So I'll have
Oh,
those
good.
first 2. And I'll have to keep looking, like you said, because
Mm.
the only 2 books I found were those 2, but the rest of it's all Kindle.
Yeah, but
Wow.
they come back in like every now and then somebody puts one up for sale.
Hmm.
And
Right.
But when people put them up on used, new and used, the used ones were $156.
yeah, keep waiting for them to
Yeah,
come
just
out
keep
used
looking.
at a
Yeah.
reasonable price, under
So
20.
I left there saying, well, when I'm supposed to have it, I will. I've got
Yeah,
2 to chew on now, so
yeah. So
take
those
me time to
Good.
to
Yeah.
take that in. So
yeah,
when the student is ready,
the book will come.
Yes. Well, kiddos, do you believe it's been 2 hours already? Like it's just flown
Wow.
by.
unbelievable.
It really is. It just
And our
yeah.
new happy new guest, Amy, I hope you keep coming back every week as well. We
Yes,
Give it a try.
this conversation with everybody.
Yeah.
this was wonderful. I enjoyed it.
And I can tell people just to give you a heads up that next week we are going to do the meditation or SyTime following thoughts and emotions outside of yourself.
Oh,
And I'm trying to see what book was that in. Oh, Seth Speaks. So session 520 is where that exercise came from. So that's going to
okay,
be next week.
Hmm. Oh,
So
great,
food for thought.
great.
where do your thoughts go?
If anybody comes up with any questions or thoughts, As soon as this is over, I try to do the new event for next week. So if you put the questions on the event, then we can, we kind of look at the stuff every now and then, between now and next Sunday, which seems like tomorrow to me. And we'll try to have some answers, we can do research or whatever we need. But
and another thing, be sure to have a Seth experience this week.
yes,
Tell us about, because we ask every week, have
We
you had
do.
a Seth experience?
Yeah.
So make
Yeah.
Seth experiences this week that you can brag about.
And
Yes.
Seth really
No.
talked about, he said, with this intent, he made
Yeah.
it so important that you start with an intention of what's going to come forth. So intention is everything. If you go
It
into
is.
something with an intention of, well, this is never going to work, or I'm not doing this right, or
That's
whatever,
poison.
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
It
Thank
is poison. And
Yeah.
it poisons yourself.
Absolutely. Only
It
yourself.
cuts
And
the
only her.
communication between you and your higher self. It
Yes.
cuts it deeper and deeper and deeper till you can actually sever it to your experience. I mean, it
Yeah.
doesn't go anywhere. The higher self is there, but you're frustrating the hell out of it trying to reach you.
Right. And you're frustrating yourself too.
So
So
with a strong
Strong
intention like
intent.
this week, just for a week, I'm going to be so open and aware and drawing to me opening experiences of opening to my psychic self and manifesting what I want this week. I'm starting to do that right now. Okay, this coming magical week, I'm going to have, well, this is what I want. This is what I want. Opening this and that. So surprise me for the better of wonderful things that be coming my way. I mean, what a wonderful experiment we can all do. We're going to make
Yes.
a magical week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah.
I
That
kind of
sounds
was
good.
doing that this last week. I on the topic of Seth experience, I actually did do something this last week spontaneously. I wasn't setting out to do it. I just found myself doing it. That where he says, replace a negative thought immediately with a positive one.
Yes.
I've been doing
Yeah.
that this last week. I've been actually practicing that. So
Good.
it is empowering, very empowering.
Wow.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love our Sundays. This
It
is
takes
Yeah.
discipline
is
to do
power.
that, Martin. It
Yeah.
takes real discipline.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
Well, positive thinking, right?
All right, kiddos. I think we're
Okay.
say good night.
Good
Night. Yep.
night.
Yeah, I
It
better
has
go.
been great.
Very nice
I
meeting
love
you.
our
We'll
group.
see you all
Thank you.
next week.
Come
See
on.
you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah. Go to thesethhouse.com.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Guys.